but it's an embarrassment till you find people in Chicago. You're now a minor league sports town. I mean, I might as well be going to Nebraska. Might as well be going out to Oklahoma. Might as well be going to New Mexico. Chicago is not you can't take Chicago seriously now. Like, if I owned a business in Chicago, I'd have U-Haul out front right now. I'd be packing up my boxes, trying to find a major league city.
Nah, they better be packing up their boxes, because taking the Bears up out of Chicago is like taking Larry Hoover from the GDs. You know, crime is sky high, and the only thing that can bring them boys back is, you know, bringing Chief Keef back. But nah, though, in all seriousness, though, you know, the locals of Chicago, they, you know, they got to hold, you know, George McCaskey, you know, the owners of the Bears accountable, because, you know, Chicago Bears, they're one of the oldest teams in the NFL, you know, and there are very few cities in which, you know, all of the pro teams have won championships for the city. Now, the Bears did win a champion Super Bowl back in, I want to say, 1985 under Mike Ditka, you know, who was a prominent head coach, you know, of his time. So, you know, the good thing is, you know, for the Bears is that, you know, the city of Chicago is a beloved city, you know, when it comes down to, you know, the traditional, you know, teams that's been in the NFL. But like the Bears, you know, they got to be held accountable, because, you know, the owners, when it comes down to building new stadiums, owners just don't want to pay for the stadiums. And it's upsetting because, you know, the owners, you know, they like to flex their muscles because they're billionaires, and they don't really too much care about, you know, what it's going to affect, because they understand the leverage they have. You know, owners are looking for, you know, the city to pay for it, because they know the team being local is going to create a lot of jobs. So with that being said, you know, the owners are just looking for a cheap land to, you know, if they have to pay for it, to buy, you know, for their team to be. But usually what happens is, you know, the cities, you know, they usually use tax dollars to pay for the stadiums, because they know it's going to create jobs for the local economy. But it's upsetting because, you know, these owners, they show no loyalty to the local teams, and, you know, it can hurt the local economy when they choose to take that route. But, you know, how I see it is, when I was in Chicago last year, you know, I understood just how, like, land is in Chicago and how the layout of the city is. And there's just really no room in Chicago to build a stadium if they so choose to stay, you know, in Chicago. Because last I was told when I was in Chicago is they was trying to get the new stadium plot upstate in Illinois. I want to say in Arlington, from what a lot of the locals kept telling me. But, you know, it's not so bad if they move down to Hammond, Indiana, because it's only like 20 minutes for Chicago. But it's still a big hit, because Chicago, like I said, is one of the most prominent, you know, sports cities in America. So just get down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that it's going to be a bad move for the Chicago Bears to head out down to Indiana?